Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Arlene Samaniego, and today I want to share with you a very powerful but quick and simple to use tool, which is a free service dashboard. Let's get started. Let's review some customer experience must know concept. Without this concept, the dashboard itself, let's say, won't make much sense. So this concept will help you better understand what you can get out of the free service dashboard. Let's move on and let me show you what will be our compass or guidance for today concepts that we will be reviewing. It will be four main concepts that I have selected for you in order to understand what they are, how to measure them, and also and how they impact on your sales. Let's dive into what's the difference between service and experience. Look, I have searched on many definitions and I want to narrow it down, and I will stay with the definition of the Cambridge English Dictionary for both of them. On top of that, I will give you my input on summarize both concepts. So let's start with service. Service, according to the dictionary, is a government or a private organization that is responsible for a particular activity or providing a particular thing that people need. So it could be private, it could be a government institution that provides something that we need. It could be a service or it could be a product by itself. That's basically what service is. You need something, and there is a company, which it could be private or from the government, that provides us with this service or this product. That's it. Now, on the other hand, experience, when we talk about experience, is the process of getting the knowledge from something that you do, something you see, something that you feel. So here you have the difference between these two. One stays only by covering the need you have. On the other hand, experience, it gives you the service but also provides you a feeling, and it actually gets you some knowledge by doing or seeing or feeling something. Now, I wanted to go more into deep and bring you an example. So in this occasion, I have taken the example of, let's say we need transportation. That's our need today. So we have for a transportation a taxi, which it could be a government or a private company that provides us with the transportation service. They can take us from point A to point B. Now, if you have ever been into Latin America, more in specific, I will talk about the transportation service on taxi drivers in Panama City. Then you know there is a huge difference on taxis and Uber. Taxi driver in Panama City, for you to have an idea, you have to go out there at the street and stick your hand out, shake it, and see if there's a taxi driver who will stop and ask you where you want to go. Once you tell them, they decide if they're either they take you or not. And that exercise, you can do that for hours and hours. Believe me, it's very uncomfortable. Now, they do provide the service. They can take you to point A to point B, but on their ways. The experience of getting the taxi, not so positive. On the other hand, With Uber, Cabify, or any of these apps that are now emerging, is a whole different experience. You download the app, you have it on your cell phone, you select the place you want to go, they tell you what's the rate that you are going to pay, so it's not a surprise for you. Think that it does always end up being a surprise with the taxi driver here in Panama. But Uber, Cabify, all these apps are a whole different experience. They provide you not only the service but also the experience of commodity. They take you in a driver that is good looking most of the time. You have a car that is in very good conditions, and you can go and take your drive very peacefully, let's say. So that's the main difference here. One gives you only service, so it's important that we understand these two concepts because in your company you should ask yourself the question of either you are providing just service, and that, remember, anyone can do that, but the experience, that's the challenge. You have to make memorable experience for your customers in order for them to want to return to your business. And business is all about having people purchasing and returning once and once again for your product. It is not business for us if they just buy one time. Now, now that I cleared that up, let's move on to the next topic. Our next topic is CSAT. And remember, I told you CSAT stands for customer satisfaction. Now, what is satisfaction by itself? Well, it is actually the act of fulfilling or achieving a need or a wish we have. That's satisfaction. Simple as that. Now, when we talk about customer satisfaction, it's a pleasant feeling that you get when receive something you wanted or when you do something you wanted to do or wish to do. That's basically customer satisfaction. So remember, it is a pleasant feeling you get when you receive something you wanted or you needed or you wish to. So, for example, I want a new pair of shoes. Once I go to the store and I find the shoes that I like and they confirm they have my size, then that's a pleasant feeling because that doesn't happen too much. Or either you want to buy a new backpack and you get they confirm they have it in stock, then that's a pleasant feeling because you're getting something you wanted. Simple as that. Now, how can you measure something that is about feeling? Well, stick around. I'll let you know. I will give you some guidance on how you can measure customer service satisfaction. So, now there's many different ways in which you can actually go about measuring the customer service satisfaction. But it will all depend on how deep your company wants to go into it. Now, I selected three of the mostly used I seen companies they use these methods in order to measure customer satisfaction. The first one is scale 1 to 5. Second is most likely defined me statement. And third, yes or no expectation role. So let me start with the first one and I'll let you know what does scale 1 to 5 means. Basically, what companies do here is they are very brave and they throw out there a survey for their customer where they ask them to rate the service from 1 to 5, being 1 the less satisfying and being 5 the most satisfying. Simple as that. So throw out there that question for your customers and all the answer that you receive, then you will put them into the tab of data in the dashboard I showed you. And the dashboard itself will give you all these answers. That's method number one. So now, method number two, which says most likely define me statement, it consists on asking your customer which of the following statement best describe how satisfied they felt with your service, your product, or your brand. And you narrow the options down to the following three: very unsatisfied, very satisfied, somehow satisfied. Simple as that. The same. Once again, once you get all the answers from your customer, all you have to do is put it into the dashboard and it will calculate it for you. The third option or the third method you have out there is a yes or no expectation roadmap, which this one allows you to make as many questions as you decide to ask your customer. For instance, you can ask your customer if your product or service met their expectation, or you can ask them if did the welcoming package met their expectation, yes or no? Did the transportation service met their expectation, yes or no? Basically, that's why I call it roadmap, because you can ask as many questions as you need to go into details. Now, remember, when we're talking about customers, you want to keep it short and simple. Don't go above 5 questions, because really the response that you will get from your customers won't be that high. Now, there is another method that I want to share with you, and it's called the ice bucket question. And it's called like that because it narrows down only to a yes or no question, but answer, sorry. And basically, what you ask your customer is how likely he or she is to choose you again, to make business, to use your product, to use your brand, however you want to put it out there for them. But the main question is if they are willing to buy from you again. And you ask them to select is how likely will be, very likely, or not likely at all. Now, there, there are for sure more methods out there for you to measure customer satisfaction. I selected the main three that I have seen company use and simple. But one thing that I want you to keep in mind when we are talking about customer service satisfaction is it will always be, no matter what method you select, it will always be subjected to how the customer felt about the service, the product, or your brand. And feelings, you need to actually respect that, embrace it, and take actions about it. We won't be able to change what people think about our product or service, because it's what they felt at the moment they use, they buy it, and that is where we need to actually work on and make sure that the experience that our customer have in each point of contact with our company are positive experience. So just keep in mind that. Well, let's continue here with the third concept, which is CES. And like I said, it stands for Customer Effort Score. And it means actually how how much effort we are putting our clients through when they need to make business with us. And very important here is that we are actually aware that we can make our customer go through four type of different effort. The first effort is cognitive effort, and it has to do when you put your customer through too much thinking, too much analyze, in order for him or she to take a decision on our product or to evaluate our service. Um, is taking too much of their cognitive effort to read or labels or things like that. Now, time effort is when you have your customer waiting too much on a line for a cashier. It involves too much waiting time in order for a representative to answer his call. Those are the type of efforts that we refer when we talk about time effort. Physical effort, it has to do with anything that requires your customer to move too much, one place to another, or to grab too many papers in order to enroll on your customer reward program, things like that, that require us to physically move and take an action. And the last but not least type of effort we have is emotional effort. And I will say out of the four, this one is is the one that we want to actually take care and make sure that we are making the less emotional effort for a customer with our product or our brand. And emotional effort has to do when you're actually in a call with a representative and you have to repeat yourself again and again and still nothing gets done. There you need to watch out because you're putting a customer through time, you're taking time from their day, and emotionally because he or she is not going to be having a pleasant feeling about this type of situations. So just keep that in mind. Now, how can you measure customer effort in your company? Again, be brave and throw out there the following question to your customer. Select whichever applies most to your business. Um, it will be option one, overall, how easy it was for you to purchase in our store today, or how easy it was for you to purchase in our website today, how easy it was for you to um, select the product from our catalog, any of the that type of questions. Other example I have here for you is how easy it was for you to get help with what you wanted. So if he or she is calling for a customer service in any bank product, or maybe is calling to get some help with a product that they already have from your company, just ask them how easy it was for them to get the help they wanted today. And the third option I have for you is how easy it was for you to use our service. So if you're providing a service on like an app or something like that, just ask them how easy it was for them to use what they bought from you. And any of the three that you selected, just give them the following three options for them to rate you. Either it was very easy, it required some effort, or it was not easy at all. Now remember, key here is the less effort you put your customer through, the more satisfaction they will have. So more satisfied customer means that they will buy again because people look and they look forward to repeat things that were pleasant for them. No one goes to a place where they were not well treated. No one goes back to a place where the food wasn't good. No one wants to go back to a store who actually charge you for something but they deliver another thing and you have to go back and return it. So that's the main thing behind CES. Is short, is quick, but it goes very deep into how your customer will actually repeat the purchase with you or select you as a company, yes or no. Let's move on to the next and last concept, net promoting score. Well, now I heard many things about this KPI out there. Some people don't like it. People say that it's not worth it at all. Asking your customer is it a waste of time if sometimes doesn't apply to some type of business. Personally, I think that net promoting score is a KPI that applies to any business out there if you want to keep in mind two things. One is how likely is that our clients will help us grow revenue by referrals. Yes, referrals. Because we all know that marketing campaigns can be is not cheap at all. So you have to invest in a good amount of money out there to make some noise, to make your voice to be here, to your brand to be shown. But here we are talking about people who, if you measure and make sure that they are having a good experience with your company, this is how much people will be willing to make those campaigns less expensive for you because they will be talking about your brand without you having to pay anything. So just keep that in mind. Second thing is how likely it is that clients will help us build and grow their reputation. So instead of going very slowly by your own with your marketing campaign, you will have also what's called word of mouth. People out there talking about you, willing to refer you with a friend, with a colleague, with a family member who needs your product or service. So for me, it is a KPI in service that you must track down. Now let's talk about how you measure it, and it's basically very simple. Once again, be brave because customer experience is all about being brave and being willing to hear what your clients, your customer, and people are going to be saying about your brand. So put out there the following question: from 1 to 10, how likely it is that you recommend us with a friend? Simple as that. And let them answer. Any answer you get from 0 to 6, it means you have people that are not engaged, they are probably talking really bad about your company, they are not going to be recommending you at all, and probably they are talking about bad experience. So instead of helping you grow revenue through referrals, it is a detractor. That's what is called detractor. Now, on the other hand, any answer you get from 7 to 8 is a passive. Here you have a great opportunity. This is people who haven't been engaged, but they haven't had a bad experience at all. They just haven't done that click with your service, with your product yet. So those you need to convert them to promoters. And promoters is anyone who rates you in this scale from 9 to 10. This is people who are very, very engaged, that are willing and waiting for new things that you have on your brand out there just to use it because they know they trust your company, they trust your product, your service, or your brand. And this is where you want to be on the scale. Now, I hope with all this information and with the dashboard that we are going to dive into, you actually take the customer service of your company to a whole new level. I created this dashboard. The only thing you have to do is place the logo of your company, start measuring it, and share with me some of your experience, some of the actions that you have taken with the dashboard. Remember, the dashboard only tells us what's happening out there for you to analyze it, interpret the information, and take some actions. Now, if you want to hear about some actions that I have shared with other companies, stick around because I will be sharing with you in another video this information. So finally, let's get into the dashboard itself. I told you I was going to give you a walkthrough on what you see, what information is here, and let's start the walkthrough. So on the right side, I have left you a place for you to place the logo of your company. So all you have to do is go to here. There we go. So we will select an image from our files, and in this case I will use my company logo. So just for the example, adjust your logo, place it here, move this here, and all you will do is hit delete. And let's put it inside here. There we go. And if you don't want to have this black lines around, all you have to do is just eliminate the borders. And there you go. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So you have a place to put your logo. Next thing you'll find at your left side hand is the accumulated sales of any period that you are analyzing. In this case, I'm doing the analysis by month and I have a whole year period. Continue in this side, I have the section of a store. I call it a store, but it actually applies for any point of sale that you have out there. It could be an office, it could be a website, it could be any point of sales you have out there. In this exercise, I'm using only 5 to analyze. So this 2 millions accumulated in sales. I have down below how is actually distributed by each of my 5 stores, in which I see that my sales is concentrated basically in 3 of my stores. Store number 5, store number 3, and store number 2. So it looks like those are my Paretos of sales in the stores that I'm analyzing as right now. Next, on the right hand, I have the overall customer satisfaction of my company in the same period that I'm analyzing. So if I change it and I select only only January, then I will have the accumulated sales of all my stores in January. I have the overall satisfaction of my store by January. The next things you have down below the sales by store is how is the customer satisfaction per each store. So for instance, it's very interesting how we see store number 3 having 100% of satisfaction on the month of January, and you see that store number 3 is showing us $30,000 in sales, while we have these 2 other stores which they only had 50% of satisfaction and their sales is below the $30,000. So there you have a correlation on how the service or how the customer satisfaction is actually impacting in your sales. Look at store number 5, which has $31,000 on sales, also with a satisfaction of 100%. All this in January. Now, if we clear out the filter, we can see the same information on the whole year that we are analyzing. And the last thing you see on this dashboard also is the customer effort score. So again, you see this as is a very interactive graphic. You will see this is as an accumulated. It's telling us that it is being very easy for our customer to get their needs solved with our company, so it's easy for them to make business with us. And some of them are telling us also that it requires some effort, so we should be looking at what is causing this effort and in which stores this effort is actually happening. And how we do that is by just selecting store by store and see how it's behaving. So store number one, it has $396,000 on sales accumulated with an overall customer satisfaction of 50%, and is looking like a lot of effort is being required for our customers. So we want to check what's happening into details with our store number one. You might want to visit them. You want to check on other reports that can help you have more information on what's happening in there, in order to create an action plan and have that change. Let's put in store number four. You see that overall it has in the whole year a 58% of customer satisfaction. Is requiring a lot of effort also for clients to make business. And let's say you want to see store 4 on the month of February, so only $16,000, 50% of overall satisfaction. And it looks like for some clients it was easy, for some other it was not easy at all. So very opposite response here. You might want to check on this. Now, in this section, you have the data, in which you just have to throw there the information of the analysis you're doing on overall satisfaction, how easy it was for them to purchase. And in this section, you have nothing to do because it's already calculated for you. All you have to do is respond to these 3 first questions and you are ready to go. Now, if you like this dashboard, if you like the information I'm sharing with you guys, subscribe and click down below to download this information. Everything I have shown you, the presentation about the concept and the dashboard itself will be available for you. Just click down below. So that's it for today, guys. If you like the content on this video, give us some thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I see you around.